The Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, all the distinguished persons who are here, I want to thank Parliament for passing a motion recognizing the work of the UPDF and the NRM in pacifying northern Uganda and pacifying the whole country. What you need to know, this is important for you if you are going to make useful contribution, is that the ability of the UPDF to do what has defied other governments, because like the insecurity of Karamoja was not new at all. It had been there even in the colonial times. It only got worse after 1979 when the Mafeniko, one of the tribes of Karamoja, looted the arms in Moroto barracks after the Amin soldiers ran away. They were able to get automatic weapons, which they had not so much before. But otherwise, the insecurity was there all the time, even in the colonial times. Now, the reason we were able to do these tasks is because of three things, which if you are really interested, you could listen to. Number one, ideology. The Honorable Jessica Ababiku is telling you, which I don't hear many people talking about, that by 1986, 500,000 people from West Nile were in exile, in South Sudan and in Congo. Uganda was number 4 in the whole world in the export of refugees. It was competing with Ethiopia, Afghanistan, and I think Sudan. Uganda was number 4 in the export of the refugees. And what had the West Nile's run away from? From ideological bankruptcy. Because you remember, I was part of fighting Idi Amin. Nobody can say he fought Idi Amin more than I did. But as we were fighting Idi Amin, we always told our people and everybody that, look here, don't blame the mistakes of Idi Amin on all the West Nilers. Because all these things Amin is doing, he doesn't consult the people in West Nile, the villagers. He does them with a small clique of idiots. And don't blame the people of West Nile for this. Even when we were fighting UPC, it was the same. We told our cadres, don't blame the people of northern Uganda, of Acholi, Lango, for the mistakes of Obote. Distinguish between the misleaders and the misled. This is the line of the NRM. Always make a distinction between the misleaders, who are few, and the misled, who are many, even if they are misled. But in many cases, most of the masses are not even involved at all. It's just small groups of people. So when we took over, when we defeated Amin in 1979, we had formed UNLF. There was a group called UNLF which was like NRM, were telling these people, please wait, your UPC and your DP based on Catholics, for DP, Protestants, for UPC, please give us a holiday. Let's have a united group, UNLF. But they couldn't listen. They took advantage of the fact that we had our Tanzanian brothers here who didn't know our situation. They moved and they brought back the bankruptcy of the old politics of sectarianism. So those massacres, those are Babikus who must have been either children or in the womb. I don't think they were even there. I think it was the wombs which were running away. The running started in 1980, not 1979. 1979 we had, because we were together with the Tanzanians, we were with the UNLF, and we had said, isolate Amin. Don't blame the people of West Nile for the mistakes of Amin. But when they brought back their UPC and their nonsense DPs, that's how the problem came up. You West Nilers, you are relatives of Idi Amin, so we kill you. Imagine to be killed because of my relative. Bankruptcy. So if you say that you really appreciate, you better understand. So that's number one, ideology. We believe in individual responsibility. We cannot blame a group for the mistakes of one member of that group. That is point number one. And we never believe in sectarianism. So the first reason why we are able to do what Nakut, I thought Nakut was the dad. Now I've discovered she's still a Karamajong. Because Nakut was saying, I can't understand why these people, why they sacrifice so much. Yes, if you are convinced, we are always celebrating the Martyrs' Day in Namugongo on the 3rd of June. Young people who refused to denounce religion and they were killed by Mwanga. On the 9th of May, we are already celebrating Martyrs' Day, Heroes' Day. For us, we are not just martyrs, we were heroes. We have both martyrs, but also we have heroes, because martyrs die without resistance. Heroes, they can kill you if you are not careful. As you try to kill them. So on the 9th, we celebrate the Heroes' Day. People who stood because of conviction. If you are convicted of something, you will stand. So the first reason how we were able to do what these other groups failed to do is because of ideology. Secondly, discipline. What Nakut was saying, how the cattle rustling came back in 2018, it was not just the removal of the troops. There were also some mistakes by our commanders, corruption. They stole the money of the LDUs. You know, we had Karamojong LDUs. And they stole their money. They didn't pay them. And you know how confused the Karamojong groups are. So they said, okay, so if you are not paying us, we are going to raid. That's how it all started. There was also another man, I've forgotten his name. Is it Achuchu? Achuchu, the one whose wife they took when he was in jail. And when he came from jail, he said, you better repress my wife who was taken. They just looked at him. He went and raided cattle to buy another woman. That's how it all started again. So it was the the carelessness of our people, the corruption. But the third reason how we succeed is the Banyankole proverb. Okumtoguri enshunjunkuitegwa. You make the hairstyle according to the shape of the head. If you have got a head with big bones like this, the hairstyle will follow the shape of the head. When we are budgeting, this is very important for you fellows. How could we build such a powerful army with very little money? Because we budget we plan according to our small budget. So, because of that budgeting according to the shape of the head, the hairstyle according to the shape of the head, that's how we manage. Three things: ideology, discipline, and realism in budgeting. Don't budget unrealistically. So, I'm glad you are having your conference here. And I've been hearing what you have been saying. But straight away, I can tell you that the things to do are very many. You can't do all things at the same time. So I take you back to the Bible. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and the rest will be added unto you. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and his righteousness, and the rest will be added unto you. We have been telling you and telling everybody since the 1960s that whatever you do, if you want the people to develop, start with the homestead incomes. Start with the homestead incomes. Because we are now talking of roads, what. There are where roads are good. The road from Gulu to Kampala is definitely good. It's not about the problem of the bridge is a recent one. It has just come now. Otherwise, the road was good. All the way from Atiak, from Bibia, was tarmac all the way to Kampala. The one from Musingo, Kitugum, Gulu, all the way to Kampala. What are you selling along that road? I know there is some simsim from Kitugum, but what else? So, from the 1960s, we have been telling all those who care to listen to us that please seek ye first the homestead incomes, and the rest will be added unto you. In 2018, I made a countrywide tour, zone by zone, and I gave you this booklet, where I talked of the 4 sectors and the 7 ways for wealth creation and job creation. I heard the speaker, I want to speak up, don't please bring a new confusion by saying that the 4 acres model does not apply here. It does. I don't agree with that line. In this booklet, I made it clear that the 4 acres model was a rescue operation for the parts of the country that had already fragmented land. That's why I said, since you have very few acres, do not make sure the chura, I normally use our words here, the chura, the aymar, the otita, the chivaro is correct. Because if you don't, you will never get out of poverty. That's why I said, for the 4 acres and less, 7 activities, 7 enterprises. Coffee, 1 acre. Fruits, 1 acre. Pasture for dairy, 1 acre. 1 acre for foodstuff like cassava. In the backyard, you put poultry for eggs. You put piggery for pigs. Then if you are near a wetland, fish farming. And when you do that, you get millions of shillings, even if you are doing it on a very small scale. We are giving you the examples of the Nyakanas and so on. And I called this here in this booklet, intensive agriculture. Use intensive agriculture with high-value enterprises to get out of poverty using a small piece of land which you have, either 4 acres or less. But even if you have got more, there's no harm. Instead of having 1 acre of coffee, have 4. What is the problem? You can still use the same even if you have a bigger land. And 10 acres you are talking about, because I want you to make the chura, not just talk. Now, I want the chura of the average land holding in the north. When I fly over coming the way I was like this morning, the area is not, that land, if you look at the gardens, from especially Lango, I'm not so sure how many people, that Lango, the southern side, the Maruzi and those areas, near Kokoro, the Amoratar, the population seems to be heavy. Because from the air, I can see garden next to garden. You don't see much bush anymore. Even here, coming here, the areas of Minakuru, all they were coming here. The areas where I see some emptiness are the areas after Bariregi, going to Agago. Yes, I can see some space there, and some parts of the Kaperabiong, the other side of Teso. But some of the, like Teso, Serere, Ngora, very, population seems to be quite high. So what chura are you using? Don't waste our time again by bringing confusion here, this confusion. No, please. Even if you say 10 acres, because there are two strategies. Intensive agriculture is the 4 acres I'm talking about. But even if you have got 10, you can use the same for more land. You will be very rich. But the other one is extensive agriculture. When I was in Ajumani, my brother Moses Ari was talking about cotton. Then I said, okay, cotton. How much do I get from cotton in an acre? They said 1 million shillings without deducting costs. So, if it is true, and when you are discussing, please go into those details. Don't just talk and pass resolutions and deceive yourselves. I'm really no longer interested in that type of approach. So, even if you say cotton, you will get 1 million shillings gross from 1 acre. Even if you have got 12 acres, as you say, because somebody was saying that you have big land, 12 acres. 12 acres is not big land. Unless you get another word for big. If you are saying Madit, is it Madit or Madwong? 12 acres is not a lot. So if you have got 10 acres, 2 acres are for food. You remain with the 10 acres. If you get 1 million from 1 acre, is 10 million enough? So I want the real chura, please, Right Honorable Speaker. Chura, not just talking. The ones, I advised the cotton group. There are people with big land. I have big land. And there are other people. I said, you register us, we who have got big land. Let us produce cotton for you. I can put 100 acres of my land to cotton out of patriotism. I don't need cotton. But if the country needs cotton, I can grow it for them. 100 acres, even if I get 1 million per acre, that's 100 million. Of course, 100 million is not too much money for me, but I don't mind. I'm doing it for the country. Now, if you were to do 1,000 acres of cotton, you would get 1 billion. So it is true that you can get good money from low-value crop like cotton if you do it on a really big scale. But 10 acres is not big scale, so don't confuse our people with just new confusion. It is extensive agriculture versus intensive agriculture. For me, anything less than 20 acres, this is the problem of Busoga, because we told our Busoga people, please, ebikado, Kamara. Ebikado, how much are you getting from 1 acre? First of all, ebikado don't mature for 2 years. 18 months, the ebikado is still growing.